Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to this GTI course we're doing for the first time in North America for the teams in Michigan, in Tampa, in Miami, Toronto, and some friends that are joining us from other places. The first part of the course is online. You start by reviewing some of the uh, some of the weeks that you're going to have in the instructor course and the personal power course, and then once in a while we're going to be joining on Zoom or through these kinds of videos which I'll be uploading every time, or through questions and answers on the WhatsApp group and having discussions. But it's really important that you start getting wet, getting your feet wet, jumping into the water, listening to at least the first 3-4 weeks of the course. So I just want to give you a few tips how to best take advantage of this course, or any course actually. I highly recommend for you to get some notebook, yeah, so you can start capturing some ideas that you like, some inspiration, maybe some breadcrumbs or clues for future exploration. Um, Another thing is maybe to decide that over the next 2 or 3 months, you're gonna do your best to maybe a little bit less consume other types of content that you're used to consuming, and say, okay, for the next 2-3 months, I'm gonna do an experiment, and when I do have free time, I'm gonna consume capoeira content, I'm going to consume personal development content, and then you see how you feel 3 months from now. I want to show you something. So always when we start to develop a new discipline, so there's always a problem of time, because our lives are always full. No matter how much or how little we do, our lives are always full. And now we are trying to create some room for something new. A funny thing is that my experience traveling around the world, usually the busiest people have the most time, and the people that are doing the least never have time for nothing. But that's maybe for a different discussion, okay? So if we represent, I don't know what's happening with my creativity lately. I feel like drawing all day. So if we represent the day, the 24 hours. So let's say most people, half the day goes on work. Okay, I'm talking about averages. Don't jump and say, no, but I have more, but I have less. But what about the driving? What about the commute? Breathe. Everything is okay. We're talking about abstract, generalized, so you get the picture. Obviously, each one of us is a little bit less and a little bit more. Okay, but let's say most people, if you take into consideration commuting to and from, plus emails at home, plus extra stuff, plus travels. And if you make that on average for 12 hours a day, we are basically working, which leaves us with another 12 hours. Okay. Now we have to recharge. Okay. And I have to sleep. So let's just put 6 hours of sleep, which basically leaves us with 6 hours of what we call life. And inside this pizza, we want to uh, buy groceries and cook food and wash clothes and pay the bills, and you know and mow the lawn and visit the grandmother and talk to the parents. A lot of stuff of happening in here, and obviously there is not so much room for more things here. And I think you would agree with me that most of us feel like there is not enough time to get everything we want done. And now we decide that we want to follow our passion, and we want to develop some new skills. And we know that these skills is going to take some time, right? So, where do we start carving out little pieces of time so that slowly over a process, we can change a little bit the way we cut our daily pizza? Okay. So, I don't want you to do anything very, very, very drastic for this course. I don't want you to create special time where you're studying the capoeira course. You don't have to do any of that. I want you to be sneaky. You're going to use the capoeira malandragem concept, fundamental, and you're going to carve out little moments throughout the day where you're going to invest. So, for example, let's take advantage of the dead hours, yeah, like commuting. So maybe you're going to be able to, steal an hour here and steal another hour here on the way home. And then in the car, you're going to be listening to the courses because most of them are like podcast form, anyways, right? You're going to be listening to them and hearing some cool stories about capoeira and all that. And then maybe, maybe on the weekend, instead of, going to the bar or movies or some other form of entertainment, maybe you will decide, you know what? Capoeira is my passion. It's a little bit more important entertainment. You'll be able to carve out 5 or 10 minutes to practice the birimbau. Okay. And then as a group, you guys will be meeting together once in a while with your teachers and motivating each other and going over. You're going to see that every day a little is a lot. Okay. So really don't underestimate the power of little baby steps. And you're going to see that if you just carve out a few moments in the day and start marinating in this information, I promise you that very soon you will find out that magically there is more time to invest here. Obviously, make sure to download the application to your phone so you can always, you have a lunch break, you have a moment, a meeting got canceled, boom, pop in. Another place where I love to study is when I do the household chores, when I'm cooking, when I'm washing the clothes, always earphones in, listening to something. Why? Because, anyways, you're going to have to be recycling this information so many times. So you might as well just start uh, listening to it. As you listen to the materials, remember that this was recorded during COVID and it was aimed at people that were already teaching capoeira. So the language that I'm using is a language of how to pass on information to students. But the same exact technique is passed to put information inside ourselves. Obviously, we cannot teach anybody anything that we haven't learned by ourselves. Okay. So just flip it in your mind. And every time I say they're teaching to somebody else, you just say to yourself, I'm teaching to myself. And in the next video that I send you, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. I did a cool little summary for you of the first 5 weeks, just so you understand how to start to play around with information. Okay, guys, if you don't have access to anything, please send me a private message. We'll sort you out. Let's use the WhatsApp group for very productive, engaging capoeira conversations. Okay, feel free to ask whatever you want in any format, audio, video, text. Okay, and let's make sure everybody introduces themselves so we start not only strengthening our local community, but connecting all the communities together. Guys, capoeira is a very powerful tool to take care of yourselves in these hard times. Please start going over the materials and you're going to see that it really, really helps. Have a great weekend.